Go on.
I just mean that, like, that's what all of our main purpose is to sell the client the item that they either came in for or they didn't come in for.
All right. The better the experience, the higher the closing ratio. The more fun they have, the higher the closing ratio. Now, I want you to think about a couple of things. I'm going to throw you a couple of curveballs. The learning curve in our industry is 3 years before you're comfortable. There's more knowledge to sell our product than any other except pharmaceuticals. That's number one. It takes more knowledge to sell this than automobiles, real estate, insurance, any of it. If you go to GIA and you want to be a graduate gemologist, it's 40 hours a week for 6 months studying diamonds, diamonds 1 and 2, diamond grading, colored stones, colored stone 1 and 2, colored stone grading, pearls, and dividends, 6 months. You've learned nothing about product knowledge. Nothing. Then there's product knowledge. Andorra, Alex Anani, all the brands. When you start looking at everything, and you start looking at Ratani and Tag, and you start just taking a look at art cards, and you start just going right down the line and looking at everything you have, including Ajaki. And when you start looking at product knowledge, let me throw you another curveball. This right here adds another year. Rolex is a year study by itself before you're comfortable. I didn't say good. I just said comfortable. So now you've got gemological knowledge and you've got product. We have store procedure, how we set up, how we tear down, what our security rules are, how you write up job envelopes. Flawless execution basics. Then you've got store culture, all the reasons to buy from us, which outsell us our competitors. And that falls under service, fact, and quality. Family and locally owned. And just goes off the list. Rolex technician on premises. Repairs done while you wait. Sizing, setting, working in platinum. GI lab reports, diamond warranties, diamond guarantees, trading policies. And you look at all the reasons why you buy. Then there's the fifth knowledge. Oh yeah, there's 5 knowledges in here. Salesmanship. Oh yeah. I've studied that one 43 years. I've written thousands of articles about it. 200 and some articles just in one magazine. I speak all over the world about that word, salesmanship. Your professional ability to create the desire to get the client to want your product. Almost all stores don't do any sales meetings anymore. Whether it's a product knowledge meeting, gemological meeting, a salesmanship sales meeting. And everybody has different skill sets. The client wants you to close the sale coming in, guys. Especially on the clerk ticket. That's why they're here. They're here to buy. They are here to buy something from you. Some just want a battery, some want a repair, some drop it off, but everybody should be wowed. Every repair client dropping off should be wowed. Oh, got to show you something while you wait. When they're picking it up, I show them something different. So if they're dropping off, I'll show them a carat or two, and when they're picking up, I'll show them an inline diamond bracelet or timepiece. These aren't watches. These are timepieces. Big difference between a watch and a timepiece. Watches are over there. Timepieces are in here. I don't sell stones. I sell diamonds. Our competitors sell stones. I walked on stones in the street, but they sell I2s, I3s cut by a blind guy with a hatchet in a dark room. There's hatchets cut crap all over the place. You think I'm kidding? Go shop your competition. It's cheaper down the street. Cut's in 50% of it. Did you know cut makes up 50% of the cost of a diamond? Cut! Not color, clarity, or carat weight. Guys, you got to study. Gemological, product. You need to read the Rolex book. You need to study salesmanship. You need to write closes out. Why don't you just wrote them out one night a week before you went to bed? Just 10. I did it every night for 2 years. Why don't you just did it one night? 52 nights, you sat at your table for 15 minutes and wrote out 10 closes. That's 520 a year. Think you're going to get better? I can't make you self-improve. You've got to want to do that on your own. My youngest son, JT, we work out all the time, and he's breaking weightlifting records in his weight class in high school. How do you get good? You just don't look at them and say, that's a lot of weight. I mean, you got to pick it up. When he did his endurance test for a brown belt, I think I told you last time I was here, he had to do 250 push-ups. Guys, people say, you're kind of hard on your son. Yeah, I am. I love him. I'm kind of hard on him. But if you were my employees, I'd be kind of hard on you. I'd push you a little. That's not because I don't like you. It's because I love you. But I want you to improve. All of you can improve. Can we not? Can we all improve? Status quo salesmanship, mediocrity doesn't work in a store like this. This is a Rolex dealership, you guys. The learning curve on this product alone is a year. The learning curve to be really good in this store, to be comfortable, is 4 years before you're comfortable. I didn't say really good. I guarantee you, if I worked here, I could sell 3 or 4 million a year by myself. Most I've sold in 1 year in 1 carats. My record in a year is 137 1 carats, 42 carats, 33, 3, 4, 5, and 6 carats. That's my record. You want to add up? It's 250. Well, that's 240 by myself. That's why I know I can challenge all of you. We got to take a more professional advantage of every selling opportunity. And guys, we all got to be one team. We all got to be one team. And sometimes we make it hard on new people coming in because they're not part of the old group. I've been in stores where we do that. And you're all part of one team. And we've got to be acceptable to everybody. Because there's new people just been here for a month that can close people UT. Why? Because of her personality. That's why. "20 years in the industry." Wow, everybody. And all of us need to improve closing. Every one of us. So your homework is 10 closes, 10 relationship questions, 10 selling specific. Now I want to continue, and I want to talk to you about what the client wants leaving. They didn't come here to leave empty-handed, to drive to another store to buy it somewhere else. We're either the first store they come to or the last. We're never in the middle. First or last. And that's a compliment either way. They either go to the first, in their mind is best, or they save the best for last. So it's a compliment either way you look at it. When they pull up in your parking lot, they do have a plan. They have a plan. And I've not done the PERC ticket. I'll do it next time. It's a 3-hour presentation. There's 11 steps in it. But I want you to think about this. They're planning, when they pull up here, giving you their money. It's already in their plan before they leave. Whether it's a service, a repair, a purchase, a Rolex, a diamond, Alex, Nani, Pandora. So Pandora and Alex, Nani clients and all battery clients will want them wild before they go, oh, got to show you something before you go. Check this out. You use a lead-in line. A lead-in line is something that you say that leads them into the next presentation. So how did all this start? I started working with a lady that was 72, been in the industry 54 years, that could have ran for president. Everybody knew Virginia. But she'd write up a repair and say, thank you very much, take it back, just let the client leave. She had a lot of bad habits, and I was very respectful. I didn't say anything about it. I just was a forward observer, like in the military, just silent, listening, watching. So I'd go stand by the front door. She'd let him go, right? On the way out, I'd open the door for him, and I'd say, guess what's involved? They'd go, what? I'll be right back. That year I sold 72 diamonds over a carat. Standard size in the industry was a quarter. Do you think she let them go a little too soon? I do. And they're walking out, man, that was awesome. Did I sell everybody one crap? No, I probably had to show it 100 times to sell it once. That's not true today. But guys, we've got to do what your competition doesn't do. And when I was here last time, I had your competitors shop. Found out a couple stores were kind of rude. We can own this. We can own diamonds and we can own timepieces in your town by doing 3 things. Giving them experience that's unmatched by any other place they can shop for jewelry in Lansing. You got it? Changing the experience. Wrapping up, number 2, our knowledges. Our product knowledges, our gemological knowledges, our timepiece knowledges. Knowing a lot about the product. If you're going to represent it, knowing it. 3rd, improving your closing skills. Those 3 things We can take it away from our client, from our competitors. We can take it. We could be an $8 or $10 million store right here just because of who we are. Look at this building. Drive by and look at this place. It looks expensive, and I'm glad, and I hate that word. That's better than looking cheap, isn't it? Darn betcha. So, let's talk about what the client wants. Number one, they want to leave with the item they came in for. They want to leave with it. Number one reason they don't is because lack of closing skills. So, here is how I want you to do the role play when you're working on closing. So let's say I'm going to work with Amber, and I'm not really going to make you role play with me, but let's say that I work here and we're going to role play today. You guys are going to write 10 relationship and 10 selling specific questions out. You're going to bring them in tomorrow. I'm going to give them to our fearless leader, and he's going to give them to somebody who's good on a word processor, and so all of a sudden you're going to have 50, 60 questions. So she's going to take the 20 she likes the most, and I'll take the 20 I like, okay? So I take 10 relationship, 10 selling specific, you do the same thing. And two more of you go over here, she and I go in this corner, and so what I'll do is I'll be the salesperson, I'll ask her a question. She answers, I paraphrase close, I go through my 20. Bam. Well then, what happens is we trade. She becomes a salesperson, I'm the client. She takes her 20 questions she likes. She asks a question, I answer, and she practices paraphrasing and closing. She goes to the next one, and she goes through her 20. Next week we do it again, and again, and again. And you break up in twos, and you don't always work with the same person. That's how you role play this stuff. Same way with the objections, with the flashcards. That's how you role play. Because guys, if you can't handle the objection, you're not closing the sale. So, the closing is something that you say the moment they come in, and it's a process you do all the way through. The process is the ask, listen, paraphrase, close. That is not the close you use in the 30-second window. The close you use in the 30-second window is the one that you checked. Direct, that's what you use. Compliment, that's your window close. The ask, listen, paraphrase, close is not the window close. That's the one you do all the way through to prepare the client for the close you use in the window. Is that clear? So the one I check, the direct, is what I use all the way through. The ask, listen, paraphrase, close is the one I use all the way through. And when I'm in the window, that's when I use the one profile, correct for Shane Decker, which is direct, compliment, reassurance, whatever it is you use. So, think about the window. Now, I want to talk to you about FABs. F-A-B''S. Fab salesmanship. And this is a little more complicated. Now, what that stands for is features, advantages, and benefits. Features, advantages, and benefits. All right? The feature is always a fact about the product. It's always a fact. The advantage is always an advantage to the client from fact mentioned. The advantage is always an advantage to the client from the fact mentioned. So advantages can change based on client's needs. All right? They can change. The benefit is always a close. Always. So here's a fact. Diamonds are the hardest known substance to mankind. Is that not a fact? How many advantages can you have just from that? If you started writing them out, a lot of them. So I told the client, you know, a diamond is the hardest known substance to mankind. In fact, it's virtually indestructible. Worn with a little respect, you can wear it the rest of your life and pass it down to the next generation. They're going to love wearing it more than you did. Did you hear what I just did? I took a fact, continued it, made it an advantage. I took the advantage and I turned it into a close. So now, what if I have 10 fabs in every presentation, plus I have a close a minute? What am I doing? More reassurance. But this is based on facts. The ask, listen, paraphrase, close is based on gathering information. So now there's 10 more closes in an hour from a fab. You can do it with timepieces. How many facts do you think, Sammy, we could write about Rolex?
More than 100.
Hundreds probably, don't you agree? How about diamonds? What if you have all this knowledge and you're using it in a presentation? Now let me tell you what goes away when you're doing value-added statements. Here's why you use value-added statements. You realize it takes 1,000,000 diamonds mined to obtain one? Here's why you use. That's a value-added statement. There's two perceived values that clients have coming in. The one they have coming in and the one they have after you're done. And everybody thinks we have high markups, right? We discussed that a little bit ago. Well, when you use value-added statements, you're driving up the client's perceived value about the item you're talking about. Just think about all you can do with Rolex. All you can do with colored gemstones, gold, platinum. Just think of all of them with diamonds. So you want two perceived values, and you want to change theirs and make it higher. So when you use value-added statements, price objections go down, and the worth of the item goes up. And if you drive up the worth, you're going to increase the closing ratio because they know the price is real, guys. That's why you use value-added statements. So let me give you some examples of what happens here with objections. There's three types. Price, integrity, and indecisiveness. Objections give you clues on what's left out in your presentation. And until you handle the objections, you can't close it. There's no way. The objections have to be closed before you can close the sale. So when they're throwing out objections, they're telling you there's things they need from you they're not getting. Okay? So here we go. If you're getting price objections, you're not using value-added statements enough in your presentation. And until you use those, you're going to get price objections. Just think if you use 20 or 30 value-added statements about this product, price objections go away. Or you will not have to negotiate it near as much as you do. So if you're getting price objections, you've got to use value-added statements. If you're getting integrity, can I watch you work on it? I've heard jewelers switch diamonds, and this store exudes it. This brand exudes it. Your name exudes it. If you're going to get if you're going to get integrity objections, it's not going to be from people that live here. It's going to be from people that are new, or people that have been in another store and people are slamming you because they're jealous. All right? Never talk about your competitors. But they're going to talk about you. When you get to the top, everybody's after you. And when you get to the top, it's harder to get there than it's harder to stay there than it was to get there. And I don't want to just stay there. I want to blow the rest of them away. But if you're getting integrity objections, you got to sell company benefits, reasons to buy from us. Some repairs while you wait. GI lab report of diamonds, diamond setting, lab reports, trade-in policies, Rolex repair technician. You start talking about family and locally owned and all the years you've been in business. Value-added statements about the company. Oh yeah, there's value-added statements about all of you guys. There are lots of them. If you're getting integrity objections, you got to sell company benefits. If you're getting indecisiveness, well, I want to think about it. Be asked, listen, paraphrase, close. The words underneath that were important, interested, agreement, reassurance. Oh, there's the word. Close number 5. The more reassurance they get from you, guess what goes away? Indecisiveness. All right? So if you're getting price objections, you've got to use value-added statements. If you're getting integrity objections, you've got to sell company benefits. If you're getting indecisiveness, you've got to sell reassurance. Ask, listen, paraphrase, close. So if you're doing those three things, you're going to eliminate objections before they start, and the closing ratio is going up. But you cannot go on if you don't handle the objection. Let me rephrase it. You're not going to close the sale if you leave the objection open. You got to handle every objection before you close. Is that clear? You can't close if you don't. No way. But objections give you clues to what's missing, which will allow you to close. They'll give you clues to what's missing, and they'll allow you to close. There's 3 things clients want when they leave. They want to work with somebody knowledgeable today. They want to deal with a company that's got a lot of integrity and polished people. And they want bragging rights when they leave where they bought it. Now, I don't tell somebody where I did buy something, but I tell them where I do. Don't you? Where'd you get that? Da-da-da. You do the same thing. If you want a lot of Yelps more than you're getting, wow everybody. If you want a lot of Yelps more than you're getting, the more you close, the more you'll get. Clients are successful when they give you money and they leave with a bag. They're not when they leave empty-handed and got to go somewhere and start the process all over. They are not. Two things I want you to be aware of. When I was a kid growing up, I might have said, "Gee, I went to this restaurant, man, the food was so good, you got to go there." Or I might have said, "Man, don't go there, the food sucked and so did the service." Today, I can yell to you on the way out and tell 100,000 people how awesome or how bad it was. Now, in the old days, you told one. Today, I can tell 100,000. And it's all based on the experience and closing ratios. So let me tell you what changes everything. Number one, there's 5 areas that affect this a lot. And it's your smile. I was in a store a while back, well, just last month. And this client came in, and this lady saw her coming in, and she ran to the back and went behind the door and said, "Tell me when they're gone. Are they still here?" So I went back and I said, "How much does he spend on advertising, bring people in for you to run from them?" Just curious. I said, "Do you do this often?" She said, "Well, I really don't like the client." I said, "Really?" I said, "How would you like to go home today and think about this?" I said, "I don't think the owner's paying you to run from clients, do you?" She said, "What?" I said, "Why don't you go home? Come in tomorrow if you tell me if you really want to stay here." She said, "Are you serious?" I said, "It's a heart attack. Get your keys." Ran from a client. Smiling. Let me tell you what it does. Generates a smile and return. You know what's interesting? I go to other countries where I don't speak their language, and I have all my Stetson and boots, and I walk by and smile at somebody, and they smile back. Isn't that interesting? It's a universal symbol. But let's talk about what the smile does. It eliminates objections before they start. Boy, that's powerful. Relaxes the client faster than any tool you've got. Breaks the ice. And they've done huge experiments in places like Saks and Dillard's and the high-end, beautiful stores. There'll be a couple young ladies right by the front where people can walk in. They'll be adjusting the clothes. They'll have on their short little black dresses. And 40 yards away, there'll be somebody that's a little older. And the one 40 yards away looks at the one coming in and smile real big. And there's 2 people right by the door. Guess who they walk up to? The one 40 yards away that's smiling. Did you know when you smile, a client will decide sometimes who they want to wait on? And if they walk up to you because they were smiled at by you, did you know that they just chose who they wanted to give their money to? Powerful. And the more they spend and get a client to laugh, people want to have fun in here, guys. They want to walk out having fun. Second is eye contact. I don't know if you've studied much about this, but eyes are powerful. Powerful. Eye contact shows you're trustworthy. It doesn't mean stare at somebody. It doesn't mean smoke the brain out and have holes come out by the back of their head like Superman can do. It's not what eye contact's about. But even when they're talking, you can control the self just by writing down things they say, looking at them intently, nodding your head up and down, being in agreement. We're going to talk about nodding in a moment. Eyes show the client not intimidated by him. Wow, that's powerful in our industry. Look at them every time you say the price is $69.50. Look at them every time you use the close, square on. So every time you say the price, every time you close, look at them. By the way, every time you say the price in closing, make sure the client possesses the item. Don't have a hold of it when you say the price, and do not have a hold of it when you're closing. Make sure they possess it when you're talking about the price and you're closing the sale in their hand. Third's body language. Man, when we drove up this morning, dark and it's light in here, I could see everybody. Body language is powerful. Have you ever seen people selling like this? Holding the cases down? Somebody hasn't been in for a while, we're not even in a sweet spot. There are a lot of cars going by. Hasn't anybody in here for a while. What's the first thing they see walking in? Body language. How's yours? That's why you want to keep the sweet spot covered. First thing read, body language. This only happened one time. I was in Tennessee. If I told you this story before, I apologize. But the gentleman I was training with in his late 80s or 90s, actually he used to be the owner of the store, and he sold it to his son. His son actually sold it to his son, so the middle one didn't go anymore, and his son, the older guy's son, was like in his late 60s. The grandson now is the owner. The grandson, Dad, didn't come in anymore, but the older gentleman loved the store. He had snow white hair, thick, and man, did he dress. Southern class. Shiny shoes, Southern class. He didn't put out anymore. He didn't have to. He just came in at 10 o'clock, and he loved the sweet spot. He loved reading, and he loved bridal. Classy. And he didn't put away at night anymore. At 5 o'clock, he went home, but he still put in like 40 hours a week working for his grandson. He's not used to getting up at 5 o'clock and coming to a seminar from 7 to 10, but he wanted to come. Out of all due respect, awesome, respectful gentleman. So I'm so glad you're here to help my grandson. He said, I wish I'd had this stuff when I was younger. And they did shifts to eat, and he had eaten, and a couple were in the back, and there were other people there, but he was in a sweet spot. He caught a young couple coming in for bridal. And getting up that early, he wasn't quite used to it, and he had just eaten, and he was getting a little sleepy, sitting at the bridal case, and theirs was a sit-down case, and he put his chin in the palm of his hand. He started blinking kind of heavy. And the young lady had a diamond, and he had the mounting out, and boy, they were having a grand time. One time he blinked, and his eyes just stayed shut. And they looked at him, and he started breathing kind of deeply, and he just kind of took a little nap sitting there. And I walked out to work with another salesperson, and the young lady came out and said, Sir, we want to buy this, but he's asleep. And because I was dressed this way, they thought I worked there. And I said, well, I'm just a friend of the family, but I'll get somebody to take care of him. And they said, he's such a nice gentleman, we didn't want to wake him up, but we want to buy this. I said, great. So I went and got the grandson, and he just went and kind of rearranged the case and didn't wake his grandfather up just out of due respect. But when you go to sleep, you don't realize you went to sleep or how long you went to sleep, but he remembered before he went to sleep, there was this pretty little girl and this young man sitting there. About an hour later, his eyes opened up, and they're gone. And man, he was panicking, and the ring was gone, and he's thinking, well, how'd that happen? I said, sir, you went to sleep. No, I didn't. Well, they bought it. No, they didn't. I said, no, they didn't. No, I didn't. I called it sleep clothes. Now, I've only seen it work once. Don't practice it. It did work one time, though. Body language. When they're speaking, write things down. Lean in. How many times have you had to say 30 minutes later, what's your name again? Oops. Wasn't it important enough to remember the first time? Guy comes in, says, it's Frank, write it down. He says, it's Sammy, write it down. Know their name. That's what that paper's for. Says my 30th anniversary, write it down. Everything that's important, write it down. What does that show them?
You're listening.
What else does it show them?
You care.
I do. 100% correct. Tell me when's the last time you shocked somebody really cared you came in, huh? These are closing tools. Without closing, these things improve it. Body language. Fourth is your voice, talking fast, slow, loud, quiet, whispering, drawing them in. Fifth, star it. Your listening skills. Almost everybody needs to work on improving listening skills. That's why the ask, listen, paraphrase, close is so important. Don't just ask, listen. Carry it on out to paraphrase and close. Listening skills. Talk less, listen more.